Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. How is everyone today? Oh, it's Friday. It's Friday. Cool. Why do I have to think about that? That was pretty bad. I know, and I have my planner right in front of me. You'd think I'd know what day it is, because I meant to actually send that off, but I did not. So, hello, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. Welcome to day number 5 of Self-Love December. If you have not watched all week, it's okay. Pick up where we're going, because it may just be today's message that you need. But I'm also, because it's Aloha Oracle Friday, I'm also going to do that. So we're going to see how we can split the time here. Also, I am catching up on the blogging. So if you are not a person who likes to sit and watch videos and you're one who likes to read, I will be catching up on those, and then starting Monday they will be on time with them. And even if you do like watching the vlogs, I highly suggest reading the blogs, because sometimes different things come out of my head, different examples, or something that might resonate more with you than what I'm talking about on the actual perspective. It happens. My brain goes in any direction it wants to. Everything is off the cuff and in the moment. So I highly suggest reading the blog as well. You can find that at shellbellinthemoment.com under the State of Mind tab or the Self-Love tab. So let's just get into this. Let's just start rolling. Day number 5, because I do have a few decks, and tonight is a new moon. So, ooh, fun. Tonight's a new moon. And I want to get to the card readings too, because those are always fun. Everybody likes that. It's kind of whimsical, right? So, day number 5, Self-Love December. Write out things you forgive yourself for. What can you do to fix that? Positive answers only, please. Good morning, baby sibling. Positive answers only, please. Write out things you forgive yourself for. What can you do to fix that? I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why should I have to forgive myself? I didn't do anything wrong. Well, maybe you didn't, but if you are constantly hard on yourself, if you are constantly putting yourself down, if you are constantly making yourself feel like crap, you need to forgive yourself for that. You need to discover why you keep doing that. And because a positive mindset is what pushes us forward, even through the shitty days. Okay, let's be honest. What gets us to that next sunrise is believing that there is a next sunrise, is hanging on, even if by a thread, to whatever it is that we need to do to keep our mind in the right place. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix my camera here. So anyways, also, the quote I have for today, also Eleanor Roosevelt: do one thing every day that scares you. Do one thing every day that scares you. Now, the reason I put it on this day, number 5, on write out things you forgive yourself for and what can you do to fix that, is because a lot of people might be afraid to go within. A lot of people might be afraid to be accountable for things that they may have done to other people, or how they may have hurt other people. I'm very open and very aware of some of my actions and the consequences that go with them. And the only way I could forgive myself for that, which actually led to a lot of healing, was to really kind of, good morning, Sammy, was to really kind of open myself up and, just be vulnerable. Vulnerability is hard, but once you understand it, it is also a superpower. Yes, it is. Because vulnerability allows you to kind of associate with other people. It allows you to, in my experience, to really kind of drop in on what other people might be feeling, because you may have been there. You may have done that. You may have stood right where they stood and said, hey, everything's going to be okay. It's like yesterday on the perspective. We started out with ignore them, don't listen to others who bring you down, live a life that is empowering to you. One of the things I probably should have added on that was, don't listen to your negative self. Others can be anybody. It can be external, it could be internal. Okay? If it is not a positive thing rolling around in your head, it is something trying to bring you down. And while it may not seem like it's something to forgive yourself for, think about the way you talk about yourself. I talk terribly about myself. I come on here Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. every morning, except for the days when it is bad. And, I always try to be honest with where my brain is at. But there are days where I can't even come on to even remotely get to the point where I can manifest a thought. That's when it's really bad. And that's so rare when that happens. Because like I said, the one thing about the perspective is I like to keep it open because I have a dinged up mental health. And I want other people to see that it's okay. That we still can function in society. Some days are just harder than the others. But there are days when I just can't put a thought together. And sometimes that happens. But then I beat myself up for it. I'm hard on myself for that. Or, I will body shame myself. I will put down my brain. I will put down my looks. I will put down the way I dress. And secretly, when I'm alone, I love all these things about me. I love that I just wear whatever I want to wear. I love that, and there are some days when I do question my choices, and they're usually like, could this shirt get any baggier? Am I wearing a potato sack or a shirt? But yeah, stupid little things like that. But, or not even stupid little things, silly little things like that. See, it's the mindset. But it's like today, right? Today's the first day that I'm wearing very minimal makeup. Very minimal makeup. I mean, I am wearing makeup, but very minimal. And I don't care. I don't care. I mean, there are days when I love putting it on. Today, I was just actually working on a lot of stuff for the Aloha perspective and trying to come up with ideas to make it something that I can really be proud of and to really stick behind a name that I finally landed on. I cannot tell you how many email addresses I have in my Outlook because I keep changing my mind. But this one resonates. The Aloha perspective, it resonates with me. And it's something I want to fight for. It's something I want to build. It's something that I want to turn into something bigger and, to reach more people, to help more people. Yesterday, I'm not going to lie, when I was helping my cousin who came on and she allowed herself to be vulnerable. She put her feelings out into the comments, knowing that they are going to get read because I do try to help people in the moment when I can. Hence, my website, Shellbell in the Moment, right? That is one thing I'm not sure I want to change because that was kind of the foundation of all of this. It was me learning how to live in the moment, but I started that 4 years ago. And I'm still learning that because I'm resistant. So in a way, I have to teach myself how to forgive these parts of me that do try to hold me back. It's not that you're letting yourself off the hook, or it's not even that you're putting yourself on the hook. What it is when, you say, what can you write out things you can forgive yourself for? It's how hard we can be on ourselves. And maybe if you forgive yourself for these things, you're going to show yourself, hey, I'm human, I'm vulnerable, and sometimes things are going to happen. Sometimes I'm going to say things I don't mean. Sometimes I'm going to do things I don't mean to do. Forgive yourself for that. If you're a parent and you lash out at a child and you don't mean to, but it just happens because it's just been one of those days, forgive yourself for that. Don't continually hold yourself accountable for things that happened like a billion minutes ago. All right? Because all that's going to do is going to anchor you to something that's just going to not be good. And I don't know a lot about boats, but I'm going to go out on the limb here and say that if a boat stays anchored in one spot during a storm, it's going to get the shit kicked out of it. Okay? I mean, if you're out sailing, a lot of times when you're on a dock, right, everything's going to be held together and sometimes you just can't help it. But there are times when sometimes you just have to sail through that storm. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My hair keeps getting in my ear. It's making me itch. Sometimes you just have to sail through and hope for the best. You just have to believe that everything is going to turn out okay, even when it doesn't feel like it's going to. So again, do one thing every day that scares you. And if that is being vulnerable, be vulnerable. That doesn't mean that you have to let every person in willy-nilly, okay? You're being vulnerable with yourself. You're allowing yourself to see inside of you. You're allowing yourself to go into the depths of where your inner child or your emotions are just swirling around, just, like just a swarm of bees trying to figure out where to find a new home, right? Bees are interesting that way. They will travel, and a lot of times if you see bees in your tree that were not there before, leave them be. Please, leave them be. I know a lot of people get scared. I know a lot of people are allergic. If you have to, stay inside. A lot of times bees will stop because they're still trying to find a place to live. They are probably not going to nest in your tree forever. They may stay there a day or two. They may stay there for less than that. But what they're doing is they're taking time to rest. Okay, they're taking time to rest. And a lot of times if it's a tree with flowers or something, they're taking the time to just regather. Think of it as like a bunch of people on marathon, right? And you have the water tables, and sometimes people, they keep going, they throw the cup, they're done. Sometimes people just slow down there, take a moment to have that drink of water, maybe 3 drinks of water, and then they're off again. That's kind of the same idea. They're replenishing. So that's my little nature note for today. Also, along with writing out things you forgive yourself for, what are the examples I put down? Actually, I put down a few. One of the ones that I came up with, it's funny, I actually have a note on here. It says, the stuff that comes out of my brain is amazing. Okay, I'm going to go with that because the whole point is to not put myself down, right? If you're constantly putting yourself down, forgive yourself for that. But also do the work and find out why. Is it something that someone has led you to believe and it's just kind of festered in your mind and grown into something that's become your own? Or is it something you came up with because you're not comfortable with who you are? You're not comfortable in the body that you're in, and it's not just gender wise. Okay, there are a lot of people, I will say this, there are a lot of people who are just not comfortable in their bodies, but, for any reason. For me, I am very plus size, and I'm not used to it, but I'm not comfortable in it because before it used to be, there's a myriad of reasons why, but the main one now is just because I don't feel healthy and it's not comfortable. It's like laying on a slab and trying to sleep, right? You're just not comfortable. You're going to toss, you're going to turn until you find that comfortable place. But before, I used to hide behind, I'm not comfortable in my health. Before, I used to just hate my body. Because you see all the people shaming, you see all the people that fat shame, you see all the people that say negative things, or the whispers, or you hear the people from time to time who think they're whispering and are not whispering, just saying nasty things about you. And I never returned to the thought yesterday. But guys, there is a thing as skinny shaming. Mind your own business. Okay? Keep your eyes on your own paper. Chances are, a person who is either too skinny or very plus size knows their health issues. It's a body positivity thing. It's a body love thing. It's a body shaming thing. And if people say they don't skinny shame, the next time you hear somebody say, "Oh, she needs to eat a piece of meat," or "she needs some protein in her life," that's skinny shaming. That is body shaming somebody. Just the same as you don't like somebody sitting there saying, "Well, you need to eat a vegetable." Okay. For me, I've learned to take the jokes, but it doesn't mean they don't hurt. Because, even I had to sit down with my dad, because my dad's always concerned about my health. I get it. These are people who saw me attached to wires like, some science experiment when I was just a wee one. And that scares them because, no parent wants to bury their child, right? I've known people who've had to bury their children. And even when their children were adults. But the pain never goes away. Because there's always this feeling in the back of your head that says, I should not have to do this. especially when it could have been, controlled and contained. So I get it, but I finally had to tell him, look, I mean, he wasn't body shaming me. He was just always overly concerned, just like my mom. And I think if my mom were still alive, I would have said the same thing to her. Whatever you're saying to me, I already know. It's not that easy. See, a lot of people are going to always think, oh, it's easy to put on the weight. It's hard to take off. I actually don't think it's as hard to take off as people think it is. What makes it hard is what's happening in here. Okay? Because if there is a mental issue behind it, like for myself, it's emotional eating, fighting your brain is the hardest thing you're going to do. It's harder than exercising. It's harder than changing your lifestyle to eat the right things and maybe every so often have a fun night or whatever. I hate the word dieting because dieting, I think, really kind of stigmatizes the weight issue. People are always focusing on what we can do to lose the weight, but nobody's focusing on the mental aspect of it. This is why for a lot of people, the program Noom, N-O-O-M, actually works. Because they focus on the mental part. But there's so much more to it than just that. See, I'm probably the only person in the world that did not work for. And believe it or not, it is psychological and physical. But I had my own demons that I had to work through. Which is why I ended up just saying, you know what? I need to go solo on this. I need to start my health journey and do it on my own. I had to forgive every nasty thing I've ever said about myself. I had to forgive the person I see in the mirror and say, look, you know what? Maybe you're not this big or even this big or even this big. Okay? Whatever size. But there's a person in there. There's a person in front of you in the mirror that's saying, please, I need you to love me. Oh, see, I'm going to get emotional now. But I think I'm getting emotional because I think this is real time, guys. This is happening real time. You are literally seeing my growth in real time. Because I think this is stuff I haven't thought of until now, until this subject. That is why I'm going to love Self-Love December. I'm not just talking you guys through this, okay? I am living it with you. I am experiencing these days with you. And I'm seeing now that I'm still not seeing the person in the mirror. Instead of walking past the mirror when I see my reflection and saying, you know what? I fucking love you because you're still alive, you're pushing through, and damn, you have gone through so much and survived it. All I'm seeing is you need to lose weight. I'm shaming myself right in the mirror. And that sticks in your head. And that's what I need to forgive myself for, because I need to start seeing the person that has survived quite a bit in my life. Who has survived quite a bit in my life. I have been at the jumping off place. And I have seen the jumping off place. And I've had friends that have gone to past the jumping off place. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want my dad to have to bury me because I couldn't get my head in order to see the rest of me. All this on the outside, that's just the outside. What matters is what's in here. And the only way to fix this is to start loving who you see in the mirror. Eileen said it. All of these changes have to be on your terms. Only then will those changes make sense. And that is straight up true. And Ladina. So, girl, you and I can do this together. Okay. And oh, thank you, older sibling. You are very much loved by many people, just so you know. Thank you. Thank you. And that was another thing that was hard. But I will tell you this. It has made this journey easier. It has made this journey easier. Simply based on the fact that one of the things I had to learn was how much people see that I don't see. And that was one of the notes I wrote. kind of getting there the long way, because like I said, we just totally had Shelly's going through personal growth moments. So I am going to make it a point to forgive myself for seeing somebody icky in the mirror. Good morning, T. I need to start seeing the person that I feel like I am on the inside. I need to connect my inside with my outside. I need to stop thinking that I'm not good enough for anybody, that I'm not good enough to be in this world. I've got to start thinking that I belong here, that I deserve to be breathing. No matter what, somebody is always going to say something, right? It's like yesterday's quote, do what you feel you have to do. Oh, do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you will be criticized anyway. But I have to forgive myself for being the one that's criticizing me. I am literally always trying to beat people to the punch because I think I know what other people are thinking. I don't know what other people are thinking. One of my super skills is not mind reader. It would be nice, right? It would be nice. Or would it? We've all seen those movies. Now they have two of them. What men want, what women want. And we've seen what it's like when you can read somebody else's mind. And it doesn't all, it does go sideways. It can. There's a good mystery to about it, to not know everything. But one of the things I wrote down and really kind of touched me this last weekend, I got to spend a lot of time with baby sibling. Super fun. I felt bad for her because she was like a whirlwind tour, okay? She was like a concert tour with like 50 shows a day, all right? Saturday, she fit in 4 people. Me, her friend Serena, or our friend Serena, because I know her too. Another one of her friends who lives up here by me, and our cousin Dia. That's a long ass day, but for a girl who was running on fumes too. But so when we were saying goodbye to Serena on Saturday, and actually I was saying goodbye to baby sibling because I wasn't going to see her the rest of the weekend, I gave Serena a big hug, and she just looks at me and says, "You give really amazing hugs, or great hugs, or something on the very positive side." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then baby sibling agreed. And I said, well, Marie says that I have, that my feeling is, or my vibe, my energy is very glittery. And this is actually from the night before. So I was repeating that because, I just kind of touched her hand. She's like, "Whoa." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Is my energy bad?" She's like, "No, it's, we were trying to think of something like glittery." She says it's very, like pixie dust, like a little fairy dust, right? And, so we settled on shimmery. Because shimmery is nice, but what I wrote after that was, we should always see the best in ourselves, even when we can't. Focus on the good things about you, because even when you can't see it, others do. Okay, focus on the good things about you, because even when you can't see it, others do. Forgive yourself for being hard on yourself. Okay, that's the big one. You don't have to worry about, if you can't think of one thing, make it a point during the day that when you hear yourself putting yourself down, just saying, "You know what, I forgive myself," and then immediately make it positive. I'm going to work on that too. There's a trick that my friend put down. She's a life coach, and she said every time you pass the mirror, and she actually did this, okay? She was very plus size like myself, and she lost a lot of weight. But she lost the weight because she did the mental work. Okay? She didn't hold herself back. She reminded herself even on the hard days that look how far I've come. And it fell away. That's why I'm saying a lot of times we put so much focus on the pounds we have to lose, when it's actually mental pounds we have to lose. It's the bags and bags and bags of emotions that we carry around, and just kind of, we wear it. We wear it. Every one of these pounds that I have on me is some kind of punishment that I've made for myself. I hid it behind emotional eating, and emotional eating for me has become this thing like, "Oh, well, I'm emotional eating, so it's okay." It's not okay. Yes, we are going to have comfort food. Yes, we're going to comfort eat. But I was hiding behind it. That's the mental aspect of it. That's the painful part of it, and the honest truth. And I have to find a way to forgive myself for constantly punishing myself for things that, you know what, they were choices I had to make. And maybe they may not have been the best choices for me. Maybe they may not have been the right choices, by someone else's standards. But in that moment and at that time, it was a choice I made, and I have to forgive myself for that. I talked about a big one yesterday. I dropped that one like I never thought I'd drop it again. But having shared that part, the part that really kind of got me into emotionally eating, it was very therapeutic for me. And I even told older sibling, I didn't plan on saying that. I didn't know where it came from. But I feel like somebody out there who is watching that or will watch that will see that they're not alone. That sometimes we make choices out of fear. And then we continually punish ourselves for them because instead of just, I feel like I have feathers just on my face again, which means somebody is probably here trying to comfort me or something. I don't know. But we constantly punish ourselves for a choice that we made. Own your choice. Own your decision. If you feel like you need to be accountable for that choice or that decision, then be accountable for that choice or decision. But then forgive yourself. If there's someone you have to make an amends to about that, then apologize. But let yourself off the hook. Okay? You cannot constantly go back and try to change something that cannot be changed. If you have a time machine and you try to go back and change it, the outcome may still be the same. It's like, okay, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched What If on Disney Plus. All right, it's the cartoon, but it's about alternate universes in the Marvel universe. And like I said, there's one that I really, really love because it resonated with me beyond measure, of Doctor Strange. Okay, now we all know who have seen the movies that Doctor Strange got into an accident that really kind of changed his course. Now, for those of you who don't understand Doctor Strange, that's actually his last name in things, Dr. Stephen Strange. Okay, so it's not that he's strange, that is actually his name. But in this particular universe, in this parallel universe, is Christine. Christine, that was her name. I couldn't remember it the last time I talked about it. She's the one that ends up dying. And he spends almost the entire episode trying to change what is a fixed point in his life. If she didn't die, he didn't become who he became. And he didn't go on to be one of the people to save the world, right? Now, yes, I know it's a cartoon. And yes, I know it's a comic. And, in other parts of the Marvel universe, it is an actual movie. But even though it's a fictional character, and even though it's a fictional story, there's a lot of times when we sit there and we try to figure out how we could have made things different. If I had a time machine, I'd go back and change this. You can't. You can't always change a fixed point. Or you can't ever change a fixed point. It's like with my mom, right? My mom and Sissy. And even my friend who passed away. I don't know if I'd be where I'm at right now if those weren't fixed points in my life. Do I wish they happened? No. No, I wish I still had my mom. I still wish I had Sissy. I still wish I had my friend from work here. But I can't change it. I can't undo what happened. I can't take away Mom and Sissy's cancers. I can't stop my friend from jumping off a building. Because those are fixed points. And as shitty as they are, as horrible as they are, and as much as we wish they didn't happen, when you stop and you take a moment to see who you are now versus who you were then, sometimes it is actually what has made the difference in your life. I don't know if their passings changed anybody else. But for me, they set me on a path that I'm not sure I ever would have found. And I don't know. But I also don't want to question it because sometimes I think it helps me rationalize where I'm at in their passings. I try to think, okay, I can't change this moment in my life. Yes, I miss them like crazy. Yes, I wish I could feel their arms around me, hugging me again. Yes, I wish they could be there for the things that, I'm going to go through in my life, that they're going to miss on the physical realm of all of this. I know they'll be there spiritually. That's one of my beliefs. I get to talk to them. I can feel their energy, but it's still not the same as having that somebody wrap you in their arms or hearing their giggles, in real time, not just in your head. It's a wonderful feeling, and I'm grateful for the memories that I do have. But I'm also grateful that I had that guidance, that I had someone to say, look how much you've grown. Not because somebody passed away, but because you finally started healing. And in that healing, the pain that you felt in their passing, you started noticing everything else that needed to heal. You started going to the bottom of that little memory chest and saying, oh, I remember that one. Forgiveness is healing. And I'm just going to say forgiveness is healing on this because we're talking about what we need to forgive in ourselves. All right, what we need to do to move ourselves forward. So I really want people to focus on that. Focus on the good things about you, because even when you can't see it, others do. Those two girls made me feel so loved in such a short amount of time. I mean, they made me feel loved all day anyways, okay? Who doesn't love me? I'm just kidding. But sort of. Not really. What? It's me. This is me. If I wasn't afraid of my own shadow being on stage, I could even maybe I could never be a comedian. I mean, I'm good off the cuff, but I ain't that good. But yeah, and no, I'm not putting myself down. These are just strengths, and one of those is not that. But in these moments, I do like to think I'm funny. As long as I'm laughing, I guess it doesn't matter. But another thing I wrote down, this is where so last night I wrote this down really quick because I got out of bed and I thought, oh, I should write that down. Somehow, maybe it'll fit until tomorrow. I love you too, T. But where I said the stuff that comes out of my brain is amazing. Just my humble opinion. Fears and doubts are anchored to our worries or whatever shame we're lugging around. But when we start to own who we are, we remove the stigma placed on ourselves, and we start to see just how much we are capable of. Okay, I'm going to read that again. This is what happens when you forgive yourself for all the shit that you think you did and probably did not do, but you've been punishing yourself for. This is what I wanted to write and say about the forgiveness of when you make a choice, whether it's a good choice or a bad choice, how you have to own it, how you have to live with it, and how you have to heal it so that it does not affect you anymore. So it is not your anchor to something horrible. Own your decision, be accountable for it, move forward, and forgive yourself and move forward. Okay? You have to own it in order to be accountable for it so you can forgive it and let it go. Holding on to it is not going to do anything for you. It's just going to make you feel like shit every day. And it's going to grow into everything else and every other part of your life that when you pass a mirror, you shame yourself. And that is not the point. Forgiveness is about self-love. It's about saying, hey, I'm not perfect. I am perfectly imperfect. Or I'm doing the best I can every day. However you want to place that term. But again, fears and doubts are anchored to our worries or whatever shame we're lugging around. But when we start to own who we are, we remove the stigma placed on ourselves and we start to see just how much we are capable of. My healing came because I was in pain. And it opened a doorway. And as I've gone along, I've resisted everything. I have not allowed myself to see what I'm capable of. I have not allowed to see the true person that I really want to see in the mirror. All I do is look at my midsection and go, seriously, what the fuck? And I've got to stop doing that. I need to forgive myself for, yes, letting myself get to this point. because I couldn't handle my emotions, because I was punishing myself. You know, it's not so much about the emotional eating as much as it is that I was punishing myself, and I wouldn't allow myself to see that I was punishing myself for all the choices I thought I made that were bad. You know, and for believing that at any size, I'm just not lovable. Okay? Whoever's going to love me is going to love me, no matter what size I am. And I know people are going to say, yeah, true, sure, or untrue, or whatever, because a lot of people are afraid of what other people are going to think. And if you're afraid of what other people are going to think about you because you choose to care about somebody that may not fit their standards, then that says something about you. And me. I'm judgy. I'm not going to lie, I'm human. I have my moments of being judgy. And then I remember, oh shit, I do the perspective, which formally is the vibe. And I guess I need to start living and practicing what I preach. So I'm not perfect, but I'm certainly trying to live by what I put out there. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite. And I've spent a good amount of time in my life being one. Because I tell people how to love themselves and how to cherish themselves and how to see themselves in the mirror. And then I turn around and I'm horrible to myself. I'm judgy. I'm mean. I shame myself if I eat a cookie. You know? Because it's like, well, I really shouldn't be eating that. Well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't. But like I said, until I can figure out how to fix what's going on in here, I do have to try a little harder. I do have to make better decisions. And I have to stick to those decisions. I have to not be afraid of them. You know, like Eleanor Roosevelt said, right? Do one thing every day that scares you. Do one thing every day that scares you. And why? Because I think at the end of the day, I don't know what her reasoning behind it was, but I'd really like to think it's because when you do that one thing that scares you, you're taking away the fear of it. You're taking away this, you're destigmatizing something, you know, that you were once afraid of. You were giving what, sorry, I lost my train of thought because T made me laugh. Practice what you preach. Yes, I know, you're right. But I think what she was, in my mind, what she's trying to say is once you do it, look what you just did. You know, and I agree with that, T, and I disagree. Well, she says it's always easier said than done. I agree with that because she's right, but I also disagree with that because I think we make it harder. We're the only ones who are in control of everything we think. You know, if we let somebody convince us otherwise, or we decide that, you know, what somebody else is saying sounds really good, so we're going to go with that instead of, you know, kind of, you know, really kind of feeling how we feel, or if we just quiet our feelings because somebody else says something and you're afraid to combat them, that's our choice. That is 100% our choice. Practicing what I preach does sound easier said than done. However, it's because I'm resisting. We're not perfect. We're always going to have those moments. But I think you have all these enlightened people in the world, right? And all these enlightened people, they're not just enlightened because, you know, they study spirituality and all this stuff. They're enlightened because they stopped resisting. That is the number one key, in my personal opinion, on why people become enlightened. Because they stop resisting. They stop fighting their brains. They stop saying, oh, I can't do this. I can do that. Oh, maybe not. You know, it'll work. You know, this, that, or the other. I can't lose weight because it's too hard. No, it's a mental thing. Everything always, sadly, comes back to the brain. That's why you need to let your heart rule you. And sometimes it's scary to let your heart rule you. That's just my opinion, by the way. Guys, everything I say on these things are just my perspective. But, first and foremost, I really want everyone to forgive themselves. You know, take the weekend. We did a lot of stuff this week. We set a lot of foundations this week. And I really want people to find a way to forgive themselves for whatever it is that you feel like you're punishing yourself for, or maybe you feel like you fell short on, or, if you made a mistake on a paper yesterday and you lashed out at someone, forgive yourself for that. If you owe them an apology because you have not made that yet, do it. Okay? Because that is what you need to do. You need to take responsibility. You need to own it, be accountable for it, forgive it, and then let it go. Okay? That's how it works. That's how I'm deciding that that's the chain of command. Own it, be accountable for it, forgive yourself, let it go. That doesn't mean the other person ain't going to look at you like you have 50 heads. And depending on how bad it was, they may not want to look at you at all. But that's a consequence to your actions. But when you learn how to own something and take accountability for it, you're learning not to do it again. And who knows, maybe in time they will find the forgiveness for you. Maybe in time they'll say, okay, you know what, I get it. That's usually on a very low level. All right, because I'm not getting any deeper than that, because this is about forgiving ourselves and all the things that we've done to ourselves or put ourselves through that we still hold ourselves accountable for. Stop it. Stop it. And I'm talking to you, Shelley Marie. Along with everybody else, stop it. So this is going to be a bit of a longer perspective, guys, because I did say we were going to do some of the oracle cards. So let's just run in through these really quick. I feel like we're going to get some good messages out of these. So let's see. I'm also going to put the path, almost like, whoa, that one, wow, did you see that? I don't know if anyone caught that. Too bad we don't have slow-mo. It kind of did this. Maya. Schooling, studying, and education can help your life's purpose and personal growth at this time. The angels will guide you and help you with this process. I don't know who needs to hear that or see that, but hey, schooling, studying, and education can help your life's purpose and personal growth at this time. The angels will guide you and help you with this process. If you're feeling stuck, maybe that's what it means. Okay, so Maya's telling you, get out there, do your thing. Actually, let's see what the book has to say. I feel like there's more to that than this. Yep, it's all about school. It's all about school. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. Oh, okay, good. See, T says that's her card. Girl, if that's what you need to do, do it. So you can, be the supervisor and be much nicer and less dingy than the ones you have to deal with. So, we'll pull one more from there. Francesca, what do you desire right now? Visualize it and it will come about. Negativity will block your progress. I actually have a good story on that one. Because this last week, I was literally throwing myself curveballs that I could not hit to save my life. And they were nasty, all right? But I was trying to hide them behind positive affirmations. So you have to vibe high. You have to have those good energies in order for things to happen. Believe you deserve it, all right? Believe you deserve it. So, you know what? Everybody says better yourself. I think we should change that to better your situation. You're an amazing person as it is. All right. You just want to better your situation because some people around you are just dumb. And see, I'm judgy. But that comes from being protective of my peeps. All right. That comes, you're a friend of mine. And, you watch my back, I watch your back. And sometimes I think it might go a little overboard. But, you watch my back, I watch your back. So let's see what we got here. Oh, there, those two top cards. So, but yeah, I was hiding behind positive affirmations, not realizing that I was vibing super low. And then yesterday, or the night before last, I decided I'm going to switch my energy. No matter what's being thrown at me, I'm going to be positive about it. Because for some reason in my life, no matter what happens to me, it always works out for the best. And that is not a lie. I am a Class A, #1, super duper procrastinator. All right. I have been doing it since before birth. And by that I mean, my father said he never wanted kids after he turned 27. Dun, da, da, da. I was born while he was 27. That's right. Right in at the finish line. School projects. Wait until the last minute to where my parents are just so pissed at me. Like, really? You're thinking about this now? But then I always got a good grade on it. That's right. Makes you wonder what would have happened if I actually applied myself and didn't wait till the last minute on everything. But that's not the point. Okay, the point is, don't be a procrastinator. Just do it. Don't put it off till the last minute. But the other point I was making is that it always works out. It always works out. And I think it's because you get your back up against the wall and you're thinking, oh, I hope this really turns out for the best. So you're willing it to happen. Well, don't put your back up against the wall. Just let it happen. Be joyous. Be happy. Be excited about life. Ooh, summer. Everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. If you're asking about something, it'll come to you in the summertime. Do I seem like the worst oracle reader right now? Like, what is she saying? Is it or isn't it? Okay, look. If there's something you're working on and there's something that you really want to achieve, by summertime, it should be yours. But here's the trick. You have to be confident about it. You have to believe in it. Okay, now, that doesn't mean that it's just going to happen in the summertime. It can happen between now and the summertime. You are planting the seeds, they're going to grow, and in the summertime, you're going to start seeing the fruits or you're going to start seeing the growth. All right, just be patient with the process. All right, that just all flew out of my mouth, so there's your message. Perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward. So T, go to school. Learn. Get some learning done. Learn yourself some new things. But perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward. If you're not sure and you're trying to make a decision and you keep thinking, well, I don't know if it's the best for me, or what about the people around me? Are they going to be mad? This, that, or the other. Worry about yourself. Okay? First and foremost, you have to figure out what is best for you, because you cannot serve from an empty cup. You cannot give from an empty cup. You cannot be you from an empty cup and still help everybody else around you, if that is your goal. Okay? And a lot of times I think that is actually why there are days when I skip the perspective, because there is nothing left in my cup. And a lot of times it's just the mental cup, and I can't give a good talk if I'm not all there. Now, I know the last couple of weeks, with the exception of this week I think I was back on my game again. But the 2 weeks before, my father was in the hospital, so I had to cancel 2 of the perspectives. And then after that, I was still so frazzled and still so worried, and my energy was just vibing so low that I was all over the place. I was rambling. There were subjects that I started that I never revisited and never got back to, not even the next day when I kept thinking about it. But I didn't cancel those, because that's just real time. You saw it today. We had straight up Shelley personal growth on here. Okay, with the tears and all. And I don't plan it, but you see how I'm living through the moments now. I'm living through the emotions. I'm not pushing the emotions down. I'm going through it, and I am growing with you. So, T says, I procrastinate because fear of failure. Don't want to face the outcome. I think that's why a lot of us procrastinate. I think we're either afraid of the outcome, or we're afraid that once it's over, we're not going to have that great feeling, right? Like, for instance, I know this is going to sound stupid, but, and no, that's not a put down, but this is the weird shit I do. When I love a TV show that makes me feel really good about myself, and not really about myself, but just, it brings me joy, I'm so afraid of losing it and it being over that I stop watching it. I plowed through the first season and 7 episodes of Ted Lasso, and I'm at the last 3 now, and it's been 2 weeks since I've watched it. Same with Bake Off. Okay, British Bake Off. The Great British Bake Off. I am 3 episodes behind. I mean, I had to ignore Twitter because I get the feeds on there. It's like, I don't want to know who won. I'm pretty sure I know who won, because the 2 that I picked to be in the top 2, I accidentally found out were there. But that was just kind of a given, though. I mean, from the first 4 weeks that I watched, there was no way these 2 were not going to be in the final. But the point is, I get so afraid of losing it and not having that joyous feeling, and I'm putting all my joy and happiness in a TV show. Okay? Instead of finding the joy and happiness and saying, hey, can't wait for next season. I'm like, ooh, I think I'm going to hold on to that. I did that with The Crown. Poor sibling had to wait like 7 months for us to finish the last 2 episodes. Because I was like, oh, but I really like this cast. I don't want to let this cast go. Okay, this cast is so good. They bring me joy. And finally we finished it. On a high note, we finished. But, I get it. A lot of times we procrastinate out of fear of failure. Or we procrastinate because we don't want that good feeling to go away. Your happiness has to come from in here, guys. The joy has to come from in here. Because if it doesn't, you're going to be hoarding television shows or something to bring you joy. I think that's why a lot of times people hoard things. Because at one point it brought them joy, or because they're emotionally spending. Emotional eating is not an only child. It is not. There are people who emotionally spend. Because I had a feather on my mouth. That's weird. There are people who emotionally spend because they don't emotionally eat. So they buy all the stupid shit they don't need. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to say stupid shit they don't need, but I know people who will go on the internet in the middle of the night and buy things like in mini bulk that they don't need, like 10 things at a time. Oh, I'm just going to give it to everybody. Because they're bored. It's emotional. You are buying things to give to other people that sometimes they may look at you like you have 5 heads, like, why would you think I'd want this? But thank you. I'm going to take it anyways, just to be polite. For me, I just love weird gadgets. But, so it always works out for me. But, and it's not me that does it. Although I am known to be an emotional shopper. When I'm not emotionally eating, I'm emotionally shopping. So I'm trying to get both of those, excuse me. Sorry. I'm trying to get both of those under control. But, what they're doing is they're feeding the joy inside, because they're all they're thinking of is, this is going to make somebody else happy. It's not making them happy. What's making them happy is making somebody else happy. And that's what we need to not do. You have to find your joy on the inside. You create your own joy. Not just by doing things that are going to make other people happy. I mean, if you're buying something and it makes you happy and you think, yeah, this is pretty cool, and then you decide, oh, I'm going to give other people this thing too, that's different. But a lot of times you're buying stuff saying, well, I probably don't need this, but I'll use it anyways, but I know they're going to love it. Then I would revisit that. Okay? And again, guys, these are just my perspective, but in my short amount of time on Earth, and yes, I said short amount of time on Earth, even if you know how old I am, it is by far not my longest time on Earth yet. Even my short amount of time on Earth, I have had many, many experiences. I have lived through a lot of different things. I have experienced a lot of things that I hope and pray nobody ever has to experience in their life. I have experienced the trauma. I have experienced the pain of trying to heal that trauma, and you know, the way I've lashed out at people. I have a lot of experience under my belt. And not always the kind you want. But that also comes from it also comes from being resistant to change. It comes from being resistant to the help that people try to give you. You know, I mean, I am surprised that older sibling and baby sibling have stuck with me this long, because I am the resistor of all resistors. And they try to help me, and they say things to me, and I can just think, oh my God, they're shaking their heads again, while they're sitting there going, what the hell is she thinking? But when they talk to me, it's like, well, you know, maybe you should try this. I see you all, and I understand how frustrating it can be when people don't listen. So, oh, well, that's exciting. We have a new moon tonight, and look which card popped up. The new moon. A new start is coming. Ooh, that's exciting. A new start is coming. It fits right in kind of with, well, not kind of, it fits right in with this whole self-love December thing. We're heading towards a new year. Aw, older sibling says, but you are the best sister ever. Thank you. You're so sweet. One of the things that makes me one of the best sisters ever is that I have amazing siblings. And I have amazing friends and I have amazing family that don't quit on me, that don't give up on me. Even when I've quit and given up on myself. Apparently there's more than one of me now. Well, there is a little floof, my inner child. But that inner emotion, that inner turmoil, that shadow work I'm healing. But I will say this. Other people have made me a better person because they didn't give up on me. Like I said, when I gave up on myself and I stopped, they picked me up and carried me until I could be on my own 2 feet again. And so I will take the credit. Thank you for being the best sister ever. But then, but it's because I have people around me that are amazing. And I'm grateful for that. Even the ones I haven't met in person. I have not met Ladina in person. She's family. I have not met T in person. I met her on a game a few years ago that we all play together collectively in a little town that we all support each other in. And out of that grew my little tiny chat family. You know, one day I've met one of them in our chat group, but I haven't met her yet. But, you know, to me, she still feels like family. She still feels like those people that, you know, you can open up and be your most vulnerable with, and they're okay with it. They guide you through. And her and our friend Liz have done that for me, and we've tried to help each other through. I mean, sometimes we're just a hot mess, and we love each other for that. But I like this card, guys. This is all encompassing everybody. A new start is coming. It may not feel like it. I had a friend last night who's been kind of tapping my brain on the metaphysical realm, and they're just wondering why all this bad stuff is just being kind of predicted for their specific sign. And I tried to tell him it's not necessarily that it's bad stuff being predicted for you. What it is it's opening the gateway for your learning. Oh, you're learning. And maybe that was what the other card meant, the Maya card. Learning isn't always about going back to school. Learning is shifting your mindset into believing who you are, believing in who you are, and learning how to love yourself. You know, and if you have to study the self-love books for that, then do it. If you have to read positive, you know, self-help books, then do it. You know, some people scoff at that, but you'd be surprised. And I'll be honest with you, I don't read a lot of self-help books or a lot of self-love books. I have a lot, but that doesn't mean I've read a lot of them. But I'm not going to lie. My guides, they speak to me through movies, through music, through TV shows. There will always be something in there that I'll pick up that nobody else gets. Okay? There will always be that. And I'm going to throw a good one out there. Okay, I'm gonna bring up 50 Shades of Grey for a second, and you're gonna be like, seriously, Shelley? In a very small and weird way, I resonated, or both main characters resonated with me. And in a way that kind of opened up kind of a pathway for growth, even before my mom passed away. It opened the path for me to see who I was. You had a person that suffered trauma when they were a child, and just built these walls. I mean, them or some fortified walls. And hid behind this tough, icky, kind of asshole exterior. Because they didn't believe they deserved to be loved. And because, you know, they loved that parent so much, and that parent died. They just didn't want to let anybody else in. Then you have this other character who was thinking, wow, somebody like that could love me? Why not? If somebody loves you, and shows you that they love you, it's because they see something in you that you can't see. If you're actually sitting there like, wow, that person loves me. Try to find what they see in you so you can love that part of you too. You know, maybe you don't have to ask them right away, but there was a certain aspect in both of them that really resonated with me because I felt afraid of loving. And I never felt like I deserved to be loved. And even though I'm in this limbo place of just living my own life and being out there, I know that, and I will say this with absolute certainty, because before I've always kind of complained about being single. I know my perfect person is out there. And I know that when my perfect person is ready, they will find me. Because I will say this, I will go on record saying this right now. I'm ready now. But I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to push it. It's perfect timing, right? The card we just got. It'll happen when it happens. But I know that when it does, I will feel worthy. And I won't keep trying to ruin things because I don't think I am. Because I know I am. And I know this time it will be the right thing that happens for me, because I do believe that I deserve it. If this is not validation, I don't know what is. Full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. I just reached my resolution. I'm super excited. But for anybody out there who is waiting for a personal issue to be resolved, this card is telling you it's going to happen. Cancer is an amazing sign. Okay? I mean, it's not just like a watery sign because it's the crab, which I think is kind of funny. But the majority of cancers I know, even the cuspy ones, they're some of the most easygoing, loving, kind, gentle people I've ever met in my life. Sometimes they can be a little combative, but it's because they know, they see. Older sibling's mom, the one that came out and said, nobody's better than you, and you are no better than anybody else. She was a Cancer. Because she knew, even when she couldn't see the good in herself, this beautiful soul that existed within her, she saw everybody else's, or she tried to. She really did. And so, I like that we're ending on that. Your personal issue is going to come to a resolution. I am super duper excited for all of you. I hope some of these cards resonated with you guys. If they didn't, don't worry. We will be doing this again. I am not going to give up Aloha Oracle Friday, even when these things go over an hour now. This is our longest perspective yet, but I'm super excited because we covered a lot of wonderful things. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Have a great, great day, everybody, and a wonderful weekend. And, enjoy your weekend. Don't worry about the weather, okay? If you think, oh God, it's cold outside, I don't want to do anything, be grateful that you have a home with heat and water and all those wonderful things, because there are people who don't. Find the gratitude in your day. As baby sibling told me last weekend, and that we started this week off with, find the positive in everything, good and bad. Okay? Find your footing in that. Find your footing in that. Forgive yourself for whatever you need to forgive yourself for. Go out there, have a wonderful day. I will talk to everybody Monday, Hodgepodge Monday. I don't know what the subject line is, but it will be day 6. Okay? It will be day 6. And yeah, go out there. Just have a good day. I will see you back here Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Lost my train of thought. Facebook Live. All lives are public under my name, Shelly Marie Lucas. You can find me there, or you can find this on the replay on YouTube, or if you follow me on Twitter already, I will post it there once they're up on YouTube. So have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching and hanging in there.